It's where small steps are big miracles.
Good job!
Where dressing for success leads to new frontiers.
Push, push, push.
Standing up means standing tall.
All right.
Here, every step counts.
There's so many different things you have to learn.
Barriers are broken down.
I work for about 4 hours.
And new heights are achieved.
I'm really glad I did it.
Tonight, in a KCRA3 special presentation, we go inside Easter Seals, celebrating 90 years of help, hope, and answers. Good evening, I'm Teo Torres, and I'm here poolside at Sacramento's Easter Seals main campus. You know, for 90 years, Easter Seals has been providing help, hope, and answers to Sacramento area families with special needs children and adults rebuilding their lives after traumatic injuries. For decades, KCRA3 has been working right alongside Easter Seals to help celebrate the amazing work they do here. So tonight, we're opening up the video vault to show you where Easter Seals started, how far it's come, and where it's going. It all started in 1922 with Dr. Gustav Wilson and Sacramento Rotarians. KCRA3 wasn't around for that, but
I'm a crippled child, and I need help. This is the lady who's been helping me. She's nice. And this is the Easter Seal. Easter Seals help me and other crippled children.
By the early 1960s, KCRA3 established a strong partnership with Easter Seals, introducing the organization and its good works to the community in a series of television specials.
It takes an organization of qualified professional people to provide the required services for the handicapped. In Sacramento, we have such an organization, the Easter Seal Society for Crippled Children and Adults of Sacramento. This is the physical therapy department. Its goal is to develop within each patient the maximum physical return. To rehabilitate a cardiovascular accident victim or to instruct a young cerebral palsy child requires a maximum of cooperation from the patient. For some, just sitting up is a start.
The 70s was known as the Me Decade. It celebrated a know yourself, believe in yourself attitude. Two new Easter Seals were introduced: ACE IT, access to community through education integration, and FILS, training and functional integrated living skills. Both celebrated individual achievements.
Here, special adaptive equipment which is designed for use with one hand is used. In short, the patient learns to become as independent as his or her disability allows.
For the next 3 days, these children, their adult escorts, and the National Guard members will be enjoying a trip to the beach. The weekend is sponsored by the Placer, Nevada County Easter Seal Society.
It's hard to get around in a wheelchair. It's hard for your friends to take you places. You tire easily. I think your friends accept you more when you're walking. They'd rather take you places walking than in a wheelchair. I found out who my true friends were.
To pay for the trips, the skills center, and the therapy, something new came along in the 1980s, the telethon.
Here we are again in Stockton. We are at the Easter Seals Therapy Center on West Bianchi Road in Stockton. We'd like to have you come down and see us, but most of all, we'd like to have you give us a phone call and make a pledge to Easter Seals.
Oh, we're so close to $50,000. Thank you, Northern California, for your help.
The last telethon aired in 1995, but the work still continues.
Good night, everybody.
These days, Easter Seals is assisting more people who, through medical advances, are surviving traumatic brain injury. But surviving isn't often enough. Thanks to Easter Seals' Help to Recovery program, these survivors are learning to rebuild their lives while adjusting to their new normal.
I was driving to the store to get some cigarettes and was just shot in the head by somebody who was shooting at somebody else.
I used to drink a lot of alcohol, and I got in an accident, a drunk driving accident, and I'm lucky that I didn't kill anyone or hurt anyone.
In 2005, I had a stroke, and that led me to be here at Easter Seals.
Freddie Battle, Lori Wilkendorf, and John Sims are all recovering from a traumatic brain injury. They all agree the first year is the toughest.
Despair. I thought the rest of my life was just going to be bedridden.
There's nothing really to live for.
It affected a lot. I don't see my daughter as much as like I used to. She don't live with me no more. It broke me and my marriage up.
Help to Recovery Director Megan Burke says depression, hopelessness, and anger are all common emotions following a life-altering accident or illness.
agitation, irritation, anger issues, personality changes, loss of themselves. I mean, loss of who they were and having to accept themselves for who they are now is huge.
Much of it has to do with the brain injury itself. It's why getting into therapy as soon as possible is so crucial.
It's really about stimulating the brain and just keeping the person inside alive. The most prevalent challenge, I'd say the one that's consistent, is definitely memory loss, memory deficits, specifically short-term memory.
Freddie says he will forget things that happened 30 minutes ago and has to be reminded to do basic tasks like brush his teeth.
Memory is gone. My short-term memory is gone. I can remember things from a long time ago, but my short-term memory is not there.
HTR recently purchased 5 iPads, allowing small reading groups to work on memory and speech skills.
This is what comes of my not thinking.
Easter Seals Vice President of Development Gary Novak says using iPads and computers also helps clients stay current with new technology.
We are on 115, second paragraph, middle of the second paragraph.
So where we can employ technology to increase our ability to serve the needs, we're always willing to do that and to look at that and continue to invest in the future.
At the twilight's last gleaming.
Music is used as a tool for healing. Memorizing the words of the songs makes therapy less of a chore.
The perilous fight.
Art therapy helps those who struggle with speech express themselves without words.
We provide the socialization piece. I mean, if they've reached their maximum, physically, then we work on other stuff and we keep the brain going.
It's here in the physical therapy room where some of the hardest work is done.
Easter Seals has goals for us all the time.
At times, the goal sounds so simple. Stand up.
Tilt your hips forward like that.
Here, it's a major accomplishment.
How you feeling?
Feel good.
Feel good? Feeling strong?
And a 7-minute goal feels like an eternity.
And when you sit down, you be like, yeah.
It sounds like a very menial thing, but to a person that hasn't been able to do that before, the fact that they can do something like a person that does not have a disability is doing and enjoy the same life is a huge thing for them.
Some of these HTR clients will move on after a year of therapy, ready to fully re-engage in the community.
Once you accept that you are here, you do have a disability, and you're around others that are like you, you start to feel better.
Others will stay as long as it takes to build their strength, skills, and confidence.
Freddie's really opened up since he's been here. It's just about him being more aware of his physical needs, really paying attention to what he needs to be successful in the community.
It means a lot to know that they will even willing to help people. And they help out people like me, so that's a good thing.
For Lori, I think a lot of it is the socialization as well, really accepting who she is. Her injury is fairly new. She's blossomed. She's been able to make her needs known in a way that she wasn't able to do a year ago.
My memory has gotten better. It's not perfect.
As for John, after 5 years at Easter Seals, he's now living in his own apartment, a major accomplishment.
Without Easter Seals, I'd be at home lost.
The HTR program is open year-round, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, everybody we talk to says the program helps keep them active while allowing them to focus on new possibilities rather than mourning what they've lost.
You're doing a really good job.
Leg harnesses, a tangle of rubber bands and pulleys, and suits originally made for cosmonauts. How these contraptions are helping children with physical disabilities gain the confidence, skills, and muscle strength to walk, jump, and play. Plus, turning back the clock on therapies of yesterday.
Welcome back to KCRA3's special presentation, Easter Seals, 90 Years of Help, Hope, and Answers. I'm Teo Torres, and I'm in what's called the Exercise Cage. It's a key tool here at Easter Seals Pediatric Skills Center. Now, before we show you how this works, here's a look back at children's services from the past.
Would you like to go sing, Claire?
No.
No? Don't you want to sing? With
Yes.
all the other boys and girls?
Yes.
Sure. Claire is like your child or mine, except for one thing. Claire is blind, hopelessly blind. And although she'll never be able to see, she's learning to adjust to her handicap. Adjust here is many others who are suffering from many other handicaps are learning to adjust. Here at the Easter Seal Rehabilitation Center in the North area.
That's Dan Atkinson, former KCRA3 news anchor. He's showing off Easter Seals therapies in the early 1960s.
The center's preschool program for handicapped children provides the processes necessary for gradual development within the child.
At the age of 1 year, a speech therapist may begin to plan a speech program for a child who has a diagnosed disability.
Through the decades, new programs were introduced focusing on what children's abilities are, not what they are not.
Stressed here is the importance of the child's ability to function within a group, relate to other children, and present positive or acceptable behavior.
The mission of helping children reach their full potential hasn't changed in 90 years. How they reach that goal, however, has seen some dramatic advances. This is a TheraSuit. It's one of the tools used to help children with cerebral palsy and other neuromuscular disorders gain muscle strength, correct body alignment, and build the confidence to stand, walk, and even climb. It's used in a program called Suitability.
She is a bubbly, feisty, she is willful, she is a happy little person.
Laura Dietmeyer couldn't be more proud of her daughter Bonnie.
She has a zest for life.
A sweet 4-year-old with a quick smile. She's taken on so many challenges in her short life.
She started having seizures when she was 3 months old. And at 4 months old, it kind of progressed into something a little more serious. It wasn't just epilepsy, it was a type of epilepsy that is called infantile spasms.
Making it through the Easter Seals Suitability Program is the latest hurdle.
I just knew right then when I saw the program info online that Bonnie had to do this.
The intensive program is 3 weeks long, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. Grady Lee is Bonnie's physical therapist.
For one child, it might be learning how to sit up, and for another child, it might be learning how to walk. Every child's at a different place, and suitability is kind of like an intensive burst to help them get to that next place.
Bonnie's working on gaining the confidence and strength to stand on her own, take her first steps, and eventually walk.
They do some weightlifting with special pulleys and resistance weights, and that's a newer thing, I think, to add to some of the typical activities that pediatric therapists do, but it's amazing how much the children do on their own. Sometimes you have to take them through the movement on their own a couple times before they do it on their own, but I have yet to meet a child that can't do at least some movement.
The TheraSuit is one of the key tools in the program.
So it mimics how the muscles work in theory. There's a chest piece and a hip piece, and you put bungees on it, and it kind of provides a lot of compression. And then there's bungees that go across the legs and up around the ankles. So if your foot doesn't come up on its own, you can use the bungees to help keep the foot up.
Not all children are able to wear the TheraSuit. Bonnie is one of them.
She just didn't tolerate all the pressure.
2-year-old Eduardo Lacayo likes his time in the so-called spider cage. His dad David says his son has made leaps and bounds in his development since he started physical therapy at Easter Seals.
Well, big changes. He's improved quite a bit. I noticed that he's walking, he's jumping, he's running, and it's much better. Big difference. He's not as reluctant anymore. He seems to be more on his own, yes, which is outstanding.
Today, a first for Eduardo.
This is brand new as of today. Yay, Eduardo, keep going.
He climbed the stairs all by himself. Small steps towards self-sufficiency.
He's more happy. He wants to play and, run more and go outside.
Bonnie and Eduardo both are working hard to reach their full potential. Their parents thrilled to see that potential realized, one small step at a time.
I like to say thank you. That's huge.
The biggest change is her taking steps with support with us, and she's able to actually walk, with us holding her hands, and that's been a dream of mine since she was tiny. So I think now she has gained confidence from that program, seeing that she can do things that she didn't know she could do.
Chris Riva, KCRA 3 reports.
Just steps away from the Pediatric Skills Center is one of the region's only warm water therapy pools. Easter Seals has been using water therapy since the 1920s. It's a way to decrease pain, increase joint mobility and muscle flexibility, not to mention a way to simply relax and unwind.
For centuries, water has been used in therapy. In the Hubbard tank, air is forced into the water under pressure. This gives a massaging action to the body and, more importantly, allows the therapist to work with otherwise paralyzed muscles.
A direct extension of the physical therapy department is the center's large therapeutic pool. Adults and children who walk with difficulty find that in the 90-degree water, spastic muscles often relax. With gravity greatly reduced, much more motion is possible. Most patients find that the buoyancy of water allows them to obtain mobility on their own. Wheelchair patients can also use the pool by entering on a specially constructed ramp.
Well, they say if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
This is one of the very few warm water therapy pools in our area. It's expensive to operate, but we do it because it's critical.
More than 40 years after the warm water pool was installed, it's still being used today.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. There it is.
Standing up on her own outside of the pool is not likely to happen, but something special happens when Bonnie is in the pool. She kicks, splashes, and plays, getting a water workout without even trying. For some children with severe cerebral palsy, the warm water pool offers the only way to relax stiff and spastic muscles. Seniors use the pool to loosen stiff muscles too.
As folks live longer because of technology, we have more people that are enjoying the pool. Our warm water therapy pool is 92 degrees 24/7. So we have more and more people that are living longer, want a quality of life that is like what they used to enjoy. So they're coming to the warm water environment to recover from a stroke or a surgical procedure.
Biomedical engineering students at UC Davis added new equipment to this pool, such as this wheelchair, which can hold up to 600 pounds and it's water resistant. And this is the ab machine. It allows clients to perform leg lifts, knee lifts, scissor movements, abdominal crunches, and cardiorespiratory workouts. This warm water pool is open 6 days a week and is available to anybody with a doctor's prescription.
He spent 5 months in the neonatal intensive care at Sutter. And then he came home, and the first night home, he decided to quit breathing.
Born much too early, a lifelong struggle begins for a Sacramento child. 13 years after teaming with Easter seals, the medically fragile baby is now an unstoppable teen. Early intervention therapy is one of the cornerstones of Easter Seals' operation. It's where children born at risk are given specific therapy treatment and intervention, giving them the best opportunity for success later in life. As KCRA 3's Edie Lambert shows us, a Sacramento teenager learned to climb mountains, literally, thanks to Easter Seals.
He was born at about 23 weeks gestation. He was 1 pound 10 ounces at his lowest weight.
Ryan Cervantes came into the world 16 years ago, born way too early. Doctors didn't give his parents much hope.
And he spent 5 months in the neonatal intensive care at Sutter. And then he came home, and the first night home, he decided to quit breathing.
But Diana Cervantes was not about to be told that her son, diagnosed with cerebral palsy, would never accomplish even the basic childhood milestones like sitting, standing, and walking.
Ryan was very slow to progress. He was about 3 years old when he sat up for the first time on his own.
3 years old and barely sitting up? It wasn't good enough for Diana, and that's when she started taking Ryan to Easter Seals.
And they told us from the get-go, if we keep him limber, when he becomes mobile, he'll be able to use his legs. If we let him stiffen and tighten, then he'll never be able to use them.
13 years of hard work paid off.
He's done occupational therapy, he's done physical therapy, and I think it's part of the reason why he walks is all the work they do with him.
Here's Ryan today, an active teenager who rides quads, goes rock climbing, and embraces every opportunity to seize the day.
Lifting weights, playing video games, hanging out with friends.
With support from his family and Easter Seals, Ryan was able to gain the strength, coordination, and confidence to accomplish more than doctors ever dreamed he would.
My therapist right now, I enjoy giving her a hard time sometimes. Like, we talk about a lot, and not just about therapy, but about like my everyday life, what's going on in my life. I remember not knowing what to expect.
Last year, therapist Rennie Lee gave Ryan his biggest challenge yet.
And I'd always thought it'd be super cool to make a video about rock climbing for kids with special needs. What happens if you take an adolescent with cerebral palsy and you expose them to a sport that is really movement specific?
She called on Ryan to help with her project.
We started in a climbing gym. So we said, well, first we're going to teach you how to put on shoes, put on your harness, tie into the rope.
After weeks in the rock climbing gym, Ryan, Rennie, and a team of therapists and professional climbers headed to Yosemite.
It's the mecca of climbing.
It wasn't easy, and it wasn't always pretty.
I don't think I have any more of the scars, but I look like a zombie. I was all cut up.
But now Ryan can say he has gone rock climbing in Yosemite.
It was a hell of a workout, give you that.
It was just an incredible, wonderful journey.
It was a true, epic climbing adventure.
A fantastic adventure, and it kind of sums up Ryan's life to date.
To be perfectly honest, I am darn good and happy with where I am right now.
Ryan will continue to work with Easter Seals therapists until he's 18 years old. After that, he can attend adult day services. He's even thinking about learning some kind of skill that will allow him to give back to Easter Seals. Putting people to work, Easter Seals does that too. For decades, Easter Seals has been helping people learn to earn. Coming up, how the jobs have changed through the years, but the goal remains the same. The need to be needed, it's a basic human desire. Here at the Easter Seals Work Center, adults with disabilities are getting on-the-job training, and they have the opportunity to even earn a paycheck. Now, from training on a phone switchboard back in the 1950s to operating laser cutters in 2012.
The Sheltered Workshop, which trains employees for specialized jobs, has a truck which picks up the employees each morning and brings them in, where they receive their training for each of their individual jobs.
At the Center Workshop, trainees earn and learn as they produce for local cooperating business and industry.
The workshop is a laboratory. A patient's ability to work according to his disability is tested here.
It's been decades since KCRA3 first visited the Easter Seals Work Center. And while some of the jobs have changed, after all, who needs a telephone switchboard operator anymore? The type of job development and soft skills that employers are looking for remain the same.
Most employers want to have an employee that can come in and they're ready to go to work.
Director Kathy Wright says every contract, in this case assembling folders, is done with attention to detail. Her trainees take pride in their work.
We have a couple of individuals that have been here for about between 20 and 30 years, and they're not wanting to leave.
Those who do want to leave are placed in jobs out in the community. Michael Anderson and two other Work Center graduates were hired by the Sacramento DoubleTree Hotel.
The people are nice and respectful.
Really a benefit to be part of the community and help out in the community. And the other part was it became a benefit for the hotel as well.
Barry Miller is the director of catering at the Sacramento DoubleTree Hotel. He says they've been hiring Easter Seals trainees since 1999.
All the tasks that are assigned to them, they're always willing to do them, whatever the tasks are.
I just basically wash dishes.
Whether it's scrubbing, washing dishes, or mopping the floors, Anderson and his coworkers are just happy to be earning a paycheck.
I work for about 4 hours, 5.
Chef Charles Cannell says they're just like family.
No different than the others. It's almost as though we hired them as part of the kitchen staffs.
Easter Seals is always looking for new partnerships like the DoubleTree. Cannell says you won't be disappointed.
For us, it's just been such an outstanding program, and when you get a good supervisor that comes with the crew, it only enhances the crew and what they do.
Mike Tissell, KCRA3 reports.
Here in the Sacramento region, about a dozen people have found jobs in the community thanks to the training they received here at the Easter Seals Work Training Center. The need for services continues to grow. To find out what you can do, how you can help out right now, go to the all-new KCRA.com. I'm Teo Torres. Have a good night, and thank you, Easter Seals.